Welcome to the pizza pit, where demons and gunsmithing go together like
So,
chicken and waffles.
um,
Sorry, I'm
now I
messing
forgot what I
with
was
you.
about to talk about, y'all. What was I talk about? Oh, I think I was gonna talk about sex and addiction. Hold up. Okay. So, yes, to me. So, I don't know what I'm talking this video, or really what I'm talking about, because, mm, um, yeah. So for me, y'all, um, so I want to talk about evil. I think I made a video about evil. Hold up. So, actually, if you hear noise in the background, it's my TV. So, yeah, you can shove it. No, I didn't make a video about evil. I made a video about darkness. Now, I was gonna add it into this video. I want to slick so bad, but I'm not. I'm gonna add it into another video that I probably could make tomorrow or today. Doesn't matter. But it's gonna be a separate video where I talk about evil, right? And why I love it so much, right? Crazy. But listen, so right now we're talking about porn, sex, addiction, right? Porn, sex, addiction. So we're gonna be jumbling around with those. I don't know what I'm telling the video, but that's the premise of the video, right? Okay, so I've been sitting here talking out loud, right? Just chilling, talking, and I was really like, y'all, because I was thinking to myself, it's crazy because you know how some people have like sex demons or like sex spirits that comes to you, right? First of all, we gotta, like I said, we gotta ask that question: why is everyone who astral project or lucid dream, and they always encounter a sex demon or a sex spirit? Why is sex so repressed, y'all? Sex in the society is repressed, and this is coming. Okay, that's how I'm telling the video. Porn, sex, addiction from a Satanist perspective. Keep that in mind. This is from a Satanist perspective, right? So for me, sex sex isn't something you overcome. And I feel like literally come. No. And I feel that way because why would we have it, y'all? Do y'all really think if you understand that higher beings have children, that means that they, and if everything from the top to the top, from the void from the void all the way down here to the physical realm, if everything is connected, and as above so below, as below so above, as within so without, as without so within, if that's the case, then why would sex be so bad? Why would sex be so shameful? And if they have kids, how do you think they're having kids? How do you think these gods or these extraterrestrials or these angelic or infernal beings, etc., are having kids? They have sex. Now, sex up there might be a little different, and depending on the species, the groups of beings, they might engage in sex a little differently. But the point is, they still have sex, y'all. So I think a lot of people's problem, one of the biggest problems in society, is sex trauma. And that may come from this lifetime, other lifetimes. It may come from just your own perception on top of that as well. You know what I mean? And it can be a combination of many things. But sex is natural and normal, right? So watching porn. Now, on the higher realms, they don't have anything called porn. However, you got to understand each realm is different. It doesn't mean it's better. It doesn't mean it's worse. It's just different. Oh my god, my hair is pissing me off. Hold up. Oh my god. Hold up. Because like it's in the way. Okay. But I love porn, right? Okay. Um because I had, and I know a lot of people did, when you try to fight your nature, it only represses it more. A lion, it's like a lion trying not to be a lion, a zebra trying not to be a zebra, a tree trying not to be a tree, a fairy trying not to be a fairy, a demon trying not to be a demon, a human trying not to be a human. It never ends up well or swell. They're so cute and adorable. It never ends up well or swell, right? I gotta watch. Oh man, we need to get Netflix again. But yeah. So porn, and I'm advocating for this, and I want to do something big with this in the future. But I'm advocating for porn and having porn stars and porn celebrities because people shouldn't be shamed for watching porn or engaging in porn, right? As long as it's like safe or whatever, right? And you know, depending on the porn, right? If it's abuse porn or like BDSM, as long as it's like consensual, right? Um, what's the problem, right? And my thing is, anybody should be able to watch porn because porn is natural, right? I don't agree with I'm with Pornhub with this. I don't agree with the fact that we should have like you need identification to prove that you need to watch no to watch it because no, that's stupid. That was stupid. Porn doesn't end lives. Drugs end lives, right? Porn doesn't end lives, right? And it's gonna go into addiction too. Because yes, you may not know how to be around certain people, but that that could be any situation. Porn specifically is the number one reason why people have ruined relationships. There are many reasons why, right? Yes, porn could be one, but drugs, people who want to gangbang, people who are super vain, narcissists. There are many things, many ways that relationships can be ruined, right? Right, we understand that. So that's not an excuse. And I know for me, when I watched porn in middle school and high school, and girl, it got me through it. It got me through. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Yes, at the time, after a certain point, I would say mostly in high school, I became more addicted to it. But girl, it got me through. To me, that was my safe space, right? Yes, I have a different relationship with porn and sex now, but I needed to go through that, right? Just because you go through something doesn't mean it's bad, right? Doesn't mean you're broken. If you go through a hard time, if you go through a situation that you really wish you didn't go through or you didn't like, and you feel like it might be bad for you, whatever, in the greater scheme of things, it was never bad for you. It's just showing you, one, what you are choosing to experience, what you want to experience, and what you desire to experience, right? So somebody watching porn in middle school, right? Uh, excuse me, does not mean they're going to end up becoming a rapist or a porn addict, right? There are so many people that watch porn that aren't addicted to it, right? Right. So, and I feel like that's not talked about enough because there's this weird taboo and shame around sex, which is there is nothing more natural than sex. Sorry. And I find it so empowering to see people who can do these crazy things like go in public and masturbate or fuck, or them having sex or them masturbating or having this confidence because that's a y'all being naked on camera is an entire, especially in this type of society, that's respect, that's honor, like that is sacred to me. First of all, sex period is sacred, but you having the confidence to expose yourself in a certain way in your bathing suit in the most divine way possible, it's something about that. It's just like, and then like there's so much type of porn out there. Like you got podcast, you have the pizza delivery, Step Bro. I'm sorry, that's one of my favorites. I love Step Bro. Um, but the mom finds out. It's just so funny. And then she punishes them, and then they go up to their room. It's like, why would you punish them in the same place? Like, why would you tell them to? It's like mom or stepdad or stepmom, right? um, abuse porn, BDSM. There are lots of fetish porn like foot. Hello, people who stick stuff up their penis. That one gets me. I just can't. That for some reason I just like no, like doesn't it hurt? Like it scares me because I get scared because what if it gets stuck? Sorry, TMI. But piss, another classic. Shit, another classic. Um, people who have hyperspermia, I call it cum blasting. The doctor's office. Um, girl, it ain't nothing they don't touch on, but that just reflects the creativity and how expansive and diverse imagination is, right? And if everything stems from imagination, right? If source is imagination and everything stems from imagination, then wouldn't it make sense that porn would be one of those things, right? And I think the issue is there isn't enough talk. There's porn isn't talked about in a way where it's like sacred, spiritual, still fun and creative, right? Because public indecency, like public exhibitionist, that's one of my favorites. That should be honored. That's respectable. Like, and I feel like we need places in society where we can literally have places where people can be nude, and if they want to masturbate, they can masturbate. If they want to fuck, they can fuck. Like, I'm not saying now nude people should be allowed anywhere. However, I'm talking about when you want to go to a specific place in public and like fuck or masturbate. That would be awesome if we had more designated places. And like, if you want to go in a restaurant to fuck or masturbate, there should be more designated places to either when you like specifically for just nudity, not necessarily fucking or masturbating, but just nudity. And then you should have places for when you want to have sex in public. There should be public places. And I feel like there are a lot of people who would thrive in that environment and who would love their bodies and love themselves where it's still holy because you being a human is sacred. So every act you do is sacred. People just forgot that. And sex is the most sacred thing possible, right? So the problem comes when people have an addiction, and I came to this conclusion, right? People have addictions, but they don't have that added bonus of having satisfaction from the addiction, right? So somebody can be addicted to porn, right? And because they're addicted and they don't have that satisfaction point, they keep watching it or keep doing it. It's like they'll do it and then I gotta do it again, and then do it, I gotta do it again, and then do it, stop, then I gotta do it again. They'll do it, then stop, then I gotta do it again. It's like they have to do it or else, and that's not bad. But you should look into that not as like, why am I doing this? Like, this is not good. This is not healthy. This is not that. No, it is healthy. But you got to figure out, okay, I am doing this, but why am I not getting like, why is my satisfaction so short lived? So once you work, and there can be a lot of reasons, but once you work through that shame and get that spirit of shame out of your pores, you can masturbate 5 times a day and be fine because you added that spiritual aspect to it. And then you added the part where it's like, once you get out of that shameful mindset, you start to and you decide, remember, you are a conscious powerful being who makes their dreams, right? So because of that, like I said, the spiritual part of it, you're like, why am I like this? And it's like, oh, because I'm a sexual being. There are some people who are just naturally more sexual than others, right? Everybody's not the same thing. Everybody isn't the same thing. If we were, everybody would either have a vagina, a dick, or both, or nothing at all down there, right? Everybody would be one color, one race. They would have the same color eyeballs, the same eyelash length, the same hair color. They would have the same smile. They would have the same personality, right? Is that truly how imagination, aka Source, really is? Do you really think Source is that basic, boring, and sterile? Come on, y'all. Come, Lily. Come on. Like, source is imagination. The imagination is expansive, and it has every color, and every expression, and every art. And there are some people who are naturally more sexual. We wouldn't have succubi or incubi if that wasn't the case. There are some beings who are naturally more sexual, right? Yes. If some people, if some people, now this is not everybody, but some people who are addicted to porn and they heal their trauma and get rid of that shame, and they want to use porn for more of a spiritual aspect, like only watch it when you are actually engaging in sex, then that's fine, because that's authentic to you. As long as it's authentic to you, then that's fine. Because some people only turn to porn because that's a safe place and that's it. And once they realize that they are safe and they heal their trauma and integrate all their wounds, they no longer want to watch porn no more. That's fine. That's normal. But then some of us, which me, talking about me, and some people like me, who've healed their shame, healed their trauma, but still want to watch porn because they love it, right? And going back into addiction. Once I got rid of that shame, right, that addiction. Once I was working through it, my porn. Like I said, with my demonic family, I was working with my porn addiction and all that stuff, right? So I was like, why am I like this? Why do I like it? And then that day, when I was on my phone masturbating, I was saying, fuck it, I'm just gonna have to be shameless. And as soon as I said that, I literally, y'all, felt the spirit of shame come out of my pores. It was like, it literally felt like that coming out of my body and going into the atmosphere and dissipating into nothingness. And it was like I said a spell. I broke the curse. And and mind you, this was happening over the course of months, right? And well, years technically. But I heard the song by Camila Cabello, "Shameless," right? And that was so symbolic. But I got that. After that, I started to integrate. Like, oh, I started realizing I can set my intention to what I want to happen. So if I watch porn, I can set my attention to, like, I'm doing this for pleasure. I'm doing this to gain clarity. I'm doing this to channel. I'm doing this for a spell, right? If I'm creating like an egregore, or if I'm creating a realm, or if I'm creating something, right? I'm doing this to empower myself. If you set that intention, because you are the creator of your own being, of your own dreams, and nature has no other option but to adjust, right? The cosmos has no other option but to adjust. And I'm realizing I don't always have to consciously say it that I'm doing it this way. I just have to feel that intention. So if I'm doing it for pleasure, I just have to feel that I'm doing it for pleasure. Because the last few times, but hold on, I'm gonna get into it in a minute. But like I said, because the last few times I've masturbated. The last 4 days, I've been masturbating like 3 to 4 times back to back to back, and my energy has been neutral. I, unless I was using it, because the last night I used it to help calm me down, because sometimes I can't sleep, and I take my nocturnal pills, my sleepy pills, and sometimes they don't work. So if I take my sleepy pills along with masturbating, it helps calm me down. I can go to sleep and have a good night's sleep. But I do that sometimes, and I'll say probably because, but I'll get into that because I'm hypersexual and I'm asexual, because that also plays into it as well. But yeah, so this all just comes with learning yourself, right? Um, so lately, the last few 4 days, I've been doing that back to back to back, like masturbating 3 to 4 times a day, back to back, and I literally felt neutral. My energy didn't feel joyous. Sometimes before those days, before the last 4 days, I would either feel super high or just chill. Now I don't feel chill. I don't feel high. I feel good, but I feel neutral good. Like I just feel good, as if I didn't do it, as if I didn't masturbate. And I know some people when they masturbate, they feel drained. If you feel drained, that means you're not watching porn right. That means you're not masturbating right. That means you're not having sex right. because sex doesn't drain you. It's not supposed to drain you. Watching porn or masturbating isn't supposed to drain you. It's supposed to make you feel good. Period, right? And it should make you feel good, so good in a way where you're satisfied. Now, this goes back to what I'm saying about addiction. Addiction without satisfaction is choking. Addiction without satisfaction is encapsulating, right? It's restricting. It tells you that you're not safe, you're not safe, you're not safe to release, because addiction is like taking something so dense and making it so dense, so exact to a point, and it just moves within this little contract restrictive contracting movement, and it can't expand. And the only way addiction can expand and feel good and safe is if you add satisfaction to it. But before you can get satisfaction, you have to ask, why can I ever be satisfied when I watch this? When I watch porn, I want to watch it. I love it so much. Why am I not getting satisfied? Why am I getting drained? And once you get through that and understand that, because usually it's trauma, usually that comes from trauma, that comes from judgment from somebody else projecting that onto you and you holding that into your body, that comes from, like I said, projection, trauma, shame, guilt that you gave yourself and that you allowed other people to give to you. Because a lot of people don't operate off their authentic nature. They operate based off what somebody told them to do. And a lot of times it's subconscious or unconscious. So for me to get to this point, y'all, it took me 2 years and 4 months to get to this point of actively working with it and realizing like, oh shit, constantly bringing down the layers of trauma, of guilt, of shame, of fear, of hate, of judgment, and getting to the point of unconditional love and acceptance and authentic truth. That's where you have to get to. Then once you get that, you can get to the point where, oh shit, now I'm becoming satisfied. I'm doing this for pleasure now. I'm doing this because I love it. I love it. I'm doing this because I love it. We do what we love, right? So if you love to draw, you do it because you love it. If you love to dance, you do it because you love it. And you ain't even got to be good at it. You could just love it. Hell, a lot of us sing and we can't sing, but we love to sing, right? I'm saying it all the time, bro. Making up shit or just singing shit, writing, rewriting lyrics, right? In my head and just singing it out loud. And when you don't have that satisfaction point when it comes to like anything, and it's not just porn, it's anything, y'all. You can do something so much and not get satisfied from it. It's like you're now at the mercy of that thing, especially and particularly when you have shame, trauma, guilt, hate, um, what was the other one I said? Shame, trauma, guilt, hate, judgment, etc. When you have all that attached to it, it only makes it worse. All that, all addiction is just you loving something so much, right? And everybody has an addiction for a reason, right? And it's not the same reason. It doesn't have to be the same reason. Someone could be addicted to something because their soul contract could be, I want to learn how to alchemize this. I want to learn how to transmute this and turn this into something positive. How can I bring awareness to this? You know what I mean? That's what their soul thing could be. And some people can do it. Some people can have an addiction to something because they genuinely love it, right? And they don't realize they love it, but they just have an unhealthy relationship with it, right? You can still drink alcohol and love alcohol. I love alcohol. I don't drink it a lot. First of all, I'm a lightweight, but I don't drink it a lot. But when we are in a public venue and everybody's drinking, I'm a party person, not a party person. I'm a I won't say family person. I'm a what is that? A team player. I love being a team player. So, and if there's alcohol there, go ahead and drink it. Drink up. You know what I'm saying? Two for the legs and one for the head. Ain't nothing wrong with that. It's just, and some people can genuinely love alcohol. Y'all gotta understand, what was poisonous for you can also be your strength. You know, there are people back in the past, to become immune to poison, they would drink a little bit of poison that way so the poison wouldn't hurt them and affect them anymore. There's a reason why nature has poisonous plants and plants that aren't poisonous. Both are natural, both are valued, both are sacred, both are needed. Poison isn't bad. It's just poison. How are you going to use it? You know what I'm saying? So yes, we can say alcohol is poison. Alcohol is it's spirits. It's of the devil. So what? Yes, it is. You can alchemize that in two ways, right? Alcohol, another addiction, right? You can alchemize that, right? So you can alchemize that by, oh, I'm addicted to alcohol. It's poison. It's bad. It's this. It's that. Well, why is it bad? Why do I hate it so much? Let me. It could be in my soul contract, but let me alchemize that into something more positive. Like alcohol doesn't have to be bad. It's actually in the right setting. It's fine. It's good. Do I encourage everybody to be safe alcohol drinkers, right? Or you can alchemize that as like, or you can alchemize that in the sense that, oh yeah, and this is why I want to talk. And this is why I was talking about evil at the beginning of the video, because evil and goodness also plays into this as well, right? So the goodness principle, right? Somebody who alchemized that into like light or goodness or positivity would be like, and positivity is subjective too now. If someone's evil, but I gotta make a certain video because it gets so convoluted. Because everything at the core of everything is convoluted and it doesn't matter, and it just plays on itself and it's just abstract, it's poetic, it's literal. It doesn't matter. But um, goodness, right? Let's say you're a person who's more of the light, right? Who's goodness. You will alchemize that alcohol in a sense. Okay. Some people will go extreme and be like, no, alcohol is bad at all. Let's just make more natural alcohols, quote unquote, right? Even though alcohol is natural, but I know that sometimes they can add chemicals into it, like dyes and stuff, but that doesn't matter. Um, so let's make more of a natural alcohol. Let's just use papaya and that's it, right? Or like, let's ban all alcohol. That's extreme. But you could be like a person who's more positive, more of the light can be like, let's talk about the stages of alcohol. Let's bring it. Let's only drink alcohol when we are in a setting, you know. Um, or some people might say, I don't like people who are more of the light consciousness and who want to alchemize it in a more positive way. They might not shame it anymore, but they might say, you know, we really shouldn't be drinking alcohol. We should try more natural substance. You can have natural body highs. I can teach you how to have natural body highs because somebody who's addicted. There's so many reasons why somebody can be addicted to something, y'all. It's literally subjective. Here's an example of what I'm trying to say. Sorry. Um, somebody, because I just got this thought. Somebody could be addicted to alcohol in their life because they might want to teach people the safeties of drinking alcohol. You can still drink alcohol, but here are safe ways to do it and healthy ways to do it, right? That's one way. Another way could be, here's how you drink alcohol. We should not drink alcohol at all. We, instead of using alcohol, we can meditate and do breath work to give ourselves natural highs, right? Or there's this absolute natural herb that you can blend into a tea and you can still get that effect without, you know, calling it spirits. I like the name spirits. Without calling it spirits, without calling it the devil juice, etc., right? And they could, and these people exist for a specific niche. We all exist for a specific niche, y'all. Somebody might be addicted to this because this niche needs this thing. Somebody's addicted to this niche because this niche needs this thing. And let's say alcohol, another example. Somebody's addicted to alcohol because the alcohol needs people to teach people how to have natural highs, how to have safe drinking, right? But here's what I call the evil polarity, right? Um, the negative polarity, the evil polarity. They will be addicted to alcohol. Maybe they're addicted to alcohol, and it could be because whatever reason, right? Trauma, or they just love the alcohol, right? They're deeply, intensely loving the alcohol. But then, like I said, but you gotta understand this though. Doesn't matter if it's the evil or the goodness. Without the spiritual aspect of it, they both don't even matter, right? They both don't even matter. You gotta add the spiritual aspect to it. So, the evil side of it all, like the evil principle. You know how people say alcohol is evil? That's why they call it spirits, right? That's why they call it the devil juice. Well, yeah, somebody like who's more of the evil alignment would be like, yeah, it is the devil juice. It is spirits, yes. but they get power from that. And to them, calling it devil's juice or spirits, to them, it doesn't mean a bad thing, nor it doesn't open them up to like regular entities coming into their body and taking them over, right? Because some people, they be having spirits taking over their consciousness while they're drinking. That's because they're not spiritually aware. But if you're spiritually aware, you can be of both polarities and still gain power from that alcohol, right? Maybe this person who's of the evil polarity came into this life to show people, no, you can drink as much alcohol as you want as long as you are healthy spiritually, energetically, magically, mythically, etc., right? Because somebody can drink half a glass of wine every night before bed and that doesn't affect them in a negative way. Somebody can drink, a nice little bottle of, a nice glass of tequila, or I love Fireball, or Fireball, and be good, right? Some people literally, and this is an actual thing y'all can look up. I think it's called drunk martial arts. Some people can literally use alcohol to improve their cognitive abilities. Like I said, drunk karate. I don't know if it's called drunk martial arts or drunk karate, but that's a drunk fighting style is an actual thing that people used to do. I'm pretty sure they do it now. I have to look it up. I don't care to look it up. Actually, I'm gonna look it up. A drunken boxing or Zai Quan is a dynamic Chinese martial art style mimicking a drunk person's swaying, stumbling movements to create unpredictable attacks, making opponents overconfident before unleashing powerful fluid strikes from seemingly off balance positions, using body weight and momentum to generate force, not actual intoxication. Right? There's a reason for that. That exists for a reason, right? Because drunkenness, you don't need alcohol to be drunk, right? You can mimic that because we can everything is an expression of who we are. Everything you see external outside of you is just a mirror of what you already are internally. So, if people can mimic the physiology of being drunk without while still being coherent, you can literally drink alcohol and still be coherent. You do understand that, right? Nothing has to affect you in a negative way unless you allow it to. So if somebody's drinking alcohol, and like I said, they're more of the evil polarity where they embrace the evilness of the alcohol. Yes, it's poison. Yes, it's the devil juice. Yes, it's spirits. For them, that's their positive. That empowers them. And they can drink a fireball a night and it might help them sleep. On top of that, it makes them feel good, right? They might not need it to release stress, or they might not do it because they're addicted or they have trauma, right? They might do it because they simply love to do it. How about making sense? I'm sorry, y'all. But they might do it because they genuinely love to do it, and that's because that's in their authentic blueprint. That's their authentic uh nature, right? That's in their soul, spirits, contract. That's what they signed up for on the spirit level, right? On the soul level. They wanted to be able to alchemize that addiction as power, right? Some people, the evil polarity will alchemize the addiction as power. The positive polarity will alchemize the addiction and form a new way of channeling that addiction, right? They're both channeling the addiction in new ways, in different ways, but the evil polarity will channel that in a way where it's like, yes, it's my poison. Yes, it's my devil's juice. Yes, um, it gives me more strength. It gives me more power. It makes me more coherent, right? And or it might help me open up to the spirit realm because it helps ground me, right, in my body, and it also helps me connect to the spirits. Whereas a positive polarity will look at it more as, okay, how can I alchemize this in a way where we don't have to use the alcohol, but instead we become it in the sense like through breath work, through certain yoga techniques, we can get high, right? We can feel like we're drunk. We can feel ecstasy without taking the herbs, without taking the alcohol, right? And or the neutral polarity technically would be more so like this. The neutral polarity would be like, how can we still enjoy a good time with the alcohol without forcing it down somebody's throat or pressuring somebody that they need to drink it to feel high? But how can we also do it in a way where we're not shaming people who do like to drink alcohol, right? How can we find a healthy balance of drinking alcohol and not drinking alcohol, and also drinking it in appropriate ways without losing ourselves? That's the neutral polarity, right? Neither polarity is more powerful or worse or better than the next. They both have pitfalls, yes, but the power you get from it is just based off the individual person. So if I'm of the evil polarity, which me, I'm more of that. I'm of the evil polarity. If I'm of the evil polarity, then I gain power from drinking the alcohol, feeling like a demon, drinking poison, right? For somebody who's more of the positive polarity, right? They may get power from breath work, from meditating, from different techniques to help them feel the ecstasy, right? And if somebody's more of the neutral polarity, might have a balance of the two, right? They might lean more towards, they might lean a little bit towards one over the other sometimes, depending on the setting, or they might just be like straight up neutral, right? And that's how they gain power. Do you understand what I'm saying? So, I'm trying to make, oh my god, I'm trying not to make this too long, but yeah, like, and going back to like, addiction, like, and porn, I think that we just need a safe place for people to do porn. And no, I do not agree with having age verification. You should be able, if you can have sex at any point, you should be able to have porn at any point. Because porn isn't bad, it's just our relationship with it isn't healthy, right? Because we don't have that spiritual imbalance. A lot of us are operating outside of our bodies. We're not embodied. And because we're not embodied, and being embodied is what spirituality is. You can't be spiritual if you're not embodied in your spirit, which means in your body. Because I'm not embodied in my physical body, I'm not embodied in my spirit. And that's just period. Because the physical body isn't separate from the spiritual body. You do realize this body came from spiritual energy, right? Higher energies created your physical body. The physical body didn't just create itself, right? We understand this, right? The physical body is made of energy. The physical body is energy, right? So if everything is energy, clearly it didn't come from nothing on the earth, nor is it really physical, right? So if you being embodied means it being in tune with you, your nature, right? Your spirit, your nature, your magic, your body, right? So when we are outside of our bodies, when we watch porn or we drink alcohol, right? Or we smoke drugs, right? We end up losing ourselves. Not all the time. It just depends on the person. But typically, a lot of people get addicted or they start performing escapism or they end up becoming lost in the void. It's because they're not in their body. You have to be grounded. You have to be fucking grounded in yourself for you to be able to experience these things without losing yourself or becoming addicted, right? That applies to everything, right? We understand this because food, drugs, and sex is a huge problem. And that's because society, programming, other lives that you live where you also had trauma around that you didn't heal. It's generational, ancestral. All right. And it's also the projections of you and other people that have been placed upon you. It's all that. You understand shadow work is literally healing all of that and becoming something new. Integrating all of that and becoming something new. Like there's lots of layers to why. And it also could be a soul contract. Lots of layers as to why someone is addicted to something. But you can't figure that out if you're not in your body. If you're too out of your body, too scattered, too everywhere, too chaotic, If you are not coherent within your body, you won't know shit about shit. You wouldn't even know why you chose to incarnate as the person you did. You wouldn't even know why you do the things that you do. Period. And that's something that I had to understand too. Because I was, like I told you, I was so disassociated for most of my life. So out of my body. So out of my body. It was scary. That's why I was able to astral project pretty easy. I couldn't control where I went. Every time I meditated, I would always astral project all the time. That's because I was not in my body. I was always disassociated. Always daydreaming. And daydreaming isn't bad. Daydreaming can only become like somewhat of a problem if you aren't in your body and you want to escape. And what's the point of you being here if you want to leave? I mean, you shouldn't even came here if that was the case. If you're that weak. But yeah, like I really want y'all to understand, like I am an advocate for porn and sex and addiction, right? I support addiction because addiction isn't bad. Our understanding of it is just kind of distorted, right? Because once you add the spiritual aspect into it and you understand like, oh shit, this isn't bad. I just was unconscious while I was doing it. Now I know why I'm doing it because this is who I am and I love it. And now because I love it unconditionally, now I get satisfaction from it. And now I'm no longer addicted, right? And with addiction, real quick, this goes back into emotional alchemy, right? And I feel like humans are supposed to be masters at emotional alchemy. I always felt like humans are supposed to be able to shift emotions because humans are chimeras, right? We shift emotions. We have all the emotions, right? Higher beings don't. That's one thing that I'm really understanding. Higher beings have emotions. The higher you go up, the less emotional it becomes because the emotions become more neutral, right? They don't get to express and feel. And we know true art comes from feeling, from emotion so real, so raw, so intense. They have no choice but to be seen, felt, heard, and embodied, right? So we understand that. So humans are supposed to be a chimera, and a chimera is amalgamation of is a creature that's composed a mythic creature that's composed of many parts, right? It isn't just this, and even the human DNA is composed of a lot of extraterrestrial DNA, but that's another symbolism, right? But yeah, so emotions are very unique to humans. That's apparently what I'm understanding. And I hear a lot. And it's so interesting. And thinking about it now, it probably makes sense why I be acting so crazy. But anyways, we're not gonna talk about that. It's not about me. Um, so um damn it. Like I'm acting I gotta say it. Because I be acting crazy sometimes where like where y'all at? I don't see y'all. I need y'all to come here like Hakate, right? Mommy. I call her mommy. So mommy. I'd be like, I don't need you to work from afar. You need to work here beside me. You know what I mean? Just crazy, right? Or like, stop being so these higher beings always so poetic, always so abstract. Just be literal sometimes. God damn it. You know what I mean? Just talking shit. But being crazy. But I'm so sweaty right now. I need to get in the shower. But humans, when it comes to emotions, we're supposed to feel our emotions so intensely we create with that, right? Or destroy, but in a way where it's creative destruction, right? So we're supposed to feel our emotions. We're supposed to feel it so intensely we create art, right? We feel destructive. We can create music. We can dance. We can have a space where we can just destroy stuff, right? Or we can have a space where we can light stuff on fire in a safe way, right? Or we can just shout, feel it, alchemize it, and then shift back into another emotion, right? So we can feel anger, and the next moment we can feel joy. We can feel joy, next moment we can feel despair. We can feel despair, the next second we can feel rage. Rage, the next second we can feel neutrality. Neutrality, we can feel happiness. Next moment we can feel fear. The next moment we can feel confidence, etc. Right? I feel like humans are supposed to do that because they're chimeras, right? That's in their nature, and that applies to addictions, right? And this is why I say when you become a master of your emotions, emotional alchemy, you can have an addiction one moment. Like for me, right? I love porn. I can literally watch. I notice when I watch porn, I get so immersed in that world, so intense. I start talking crazy. Um, you know how people do sex talk, girl. My shit be I be saying anything, girl, crazy shit. But you get so immersed in that world. Sometimes I'd be like, yes, I am addicted to porn. Yes, I love being addicted to porn. The next, right, I'm so intense, so deeply into it. Remember when I say addiction, addiction is like that feeling where like it feels like the world is closing in on you. It's so intense. It's so dense down, right? And that's how it is when I watch what I like, which is porn, right? So like let's say I can be addicted to porn, right? I can be so addicted. This goes into emotional alchemy and being a human alchemy, I would say. Being so intensely immersed in that world. And then because I've understood what I am and who I am, and I added the spiritual aspect to it, I could watch it with no shame and no judgment, just pure enjoyment. And then because I have all those aspects added to me, and I have the added aspect of satisfaction, allowing myself to be satisfied from it, I can watch it and then be released and then become satisfied, and then I'm good. I no longer am addicted to it. I enjoy it now. And I'm good. Sometimes I might masturbate again after that. But not because I'm not satisfied. It can be because I'm super satisfied. I want to do it again. And I got the energy to do it. And this goes back into the like I told you, last 4 days I've been masturbating. My energy has been neutral. Like it didn't go up. It doesn't go down. It's absolute neutral. When I say down, I'm not talking about this. I'm not talking about necessarily feeling drained. I stopped feeling drained months ago when I watched it. After I started doing my emotional alchemy and my sex magic and working with my demonic family, I stopped feeling down. What would happen ever since I healed it those months ago? I would either feel super ecstatic or I would either when I say down, I'm talking about I would feel just really like chill. I would feel good. But I will recover so easy, right? I will recover faster, right? And it will just only get faster and faster over time. But the last 4 days I've been doing it, I've been feeling so neutral. I've been feeling satisfied, but I've been feeling so neutral to where I don't even need to recover anymore, right? Like I don't feel the need to recover. I will watch it, I'm done. And then I'll go about my day as if I never done it. I don't feel calm. I feel good, but I don't feel calm. I don't feel like I'm super chilled out, like I'm on an edible, right? I don't feel that way, right? Nor do I feel like super drained. I literally just feel like good, but a good neutral, right? Not super ecstatic, but I feel satisfied. But I can the next moment, like literally right after I just masturbated those times, I could literally work out, or I could start dancing, right? Or do laundry, right? Or just do magic. My energy levels don't change. Does that make sense? Um, there was something else I wanted to add to that as well. Um, yeah, real quick. Also, reiterating, we, I support porn, right? I enjoy it. And everyone should enjoy it as well. Who are supposed to, right? Because porn is not for everybody. I would never say everybody should watch porn because you need to. No, 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 no. Everybody just needs a healthy relationship with sex. Period. But there are some of us who likes to watch other people get naked. For me, that's one of my favorite things to do is to masturbate, is to watch porn. Just like how somebody else's favorite thing to do is to do archery, or somebody else they may like to dance, or somebody else they may like to eat, etc. The problem isn't what you like to watch. The problem comes when you are unconscious and you have an unhealthy relationship with it, and you aren't aware that you are a spiritual being on top of that, right? The problem comes when you are just operating out of your lower base chakras unconsciously. Because when I watch it, I do it consciously. I'm fully aware of what I'm saying and doing. But I'm also so immersed. I'm admitting, y'all, I will say this. I know that I'm emitting so much sex energy when I watch porn because I've been getting so intense with it. And this is why, like, I've had incubi and succubi in my dreams before. But every time, I know I told this story before, but every time they were in my dreams, it wasn't a lot. And keep in mind, I used to be addicted, y'all. This is before I became super spiritual. I used to be addicted. I would say there's 3 conscious times where I was aware of them being in my dreams. Each time, they didn't force me to do anything. They would ask, and I would say no, and then they would leave. I wouldn't wake up drained. I wouldn't wake up anything. I would know that it happened. At the time, I didn't think about it being a succubi or a sex spirit. I didn't know that until like a few months ago. But because the last one I had, I was in my bed, I was jumping around in blue shorts, and I had the biggest dick ever. And this succubi would kept trying to touch. We were both jumping in the bed playing, and they were like, they tried to touch it, whatever. And I was like, no, no, it's sensitive. And of course, we were jumping, we were playing, and all I said it was once, and then they didn't. And then they were like, okay, they stopped. Each time they stopped and respected me because I think they understood. First of all, they probably saw my soul, like what I was connected to, who I am, and what I was before I knew. So that probably plays a part of it too. Oh, hypersexualism and asexualism. Mind myself talking about that. But these beings only go based off your authority and your relationship to that thing. Most people have an unhealthy relationship. So if you alchemize your relationship and you start operating off your authentic nature rather than be the evil polarity where you embrace it, I call this, like I said, that's why I love being a Satanist. A Satanist. The evil polarity would embrace that sex, would embody it, would not shame it. Yes, I do love porn. Yes, I'm addicted to porn. Yeah, because people, because I used to be that person that would watch, I would have 10 different tabs of different porn and or images. Stroking, girl. Touching myself. Yes. And I remember I did, then of course I was addicted. But once you are understand your nature and you healed from that, like you can't shame a demon for being a demon, right? You can't shame an angel for being an angel. You can't shame a fairy for being a fairy. You can't shame a dragon for being a dragon, right? Right. Okay, we understand that. You can't shame a unicorn for being a unicorn. So, I always say I'm gonna try to make this short. And it's always an hour, girl. I'm sorry. But the evil polarity will be like, yes, I am addicted. Yes, I am perverse. Yes, I love porn, right? They can have 10 tabs of a different porn. And because they're embodying their authentic truth as an evil polarity or as a demon, it doesn't affect them in a negative way. It actually gives them power, strength, clarity, confidence, etc., right? And same with somebody who is of the positive polarity. Watching porn might drain them because that's not what they're supposed to do, right? It's not because it's bad. It's like this, right? Let's say I'm allergic to apples. I eat an apple, it kills me or puts me in the hospital. The apple itself isn't bad. My autonomy, my authentic nature, my gut biome, my internal biome, right? My internal ecosystem
All different
is
kinds of
incoherent
creations.
with that vibration of the
Just
fruit,
like
right?
me.
Because the
You're the
apple,
special one.
because of how the apple is constructed, and because how my internal ecosystem is constructed, it just doesn't. There, it's incompatible. It won't ever get along. It's not because one is bad and one is worse. It's just nature, right? But if if apples make me feel good, and if apples is my favorite fruit, and I love eating apples every day, eating an apple will actually give me strength, nutrients, and power, right? Not because the apple is good or bad, it's because I am super coherent with that apple. It's because my internal ecosystem really loves apples. And because we find so much power in apples, we can eat 10 apples a day and not gain weight. not get sleepy, not feel sick. We actually enjoy eating 10 apples a day because we can handle that. Because our internal authentic nature enjoys that. It loves that. That's our truth, right? And that applies to everything. That analogy applies to every single thing from the top to the bottom, right? So, real quick, talking about, I would say me being hypersexual and asexual, right? I'm hypersexual, right? I love watching porn, right? Like I said, I'm the type of person that would have 10 tabs up. Even now, like I started, because for a long time I stopped doing that, right? But once I healed myself, I noticed it was like a few days ago where I had like 6 different tabs up. I had 2 images and like 4 different videos playing at once. Girl, when I tell you I was in heaven, I was at my own hell realm of enjoyment, right? For me, because I've worked through that and because I'm a hypersexual person by nature, eating those 10 apples a day give me power. They make me feel good. I don't get drained. I don't get sick. I don't get dizzy. I actually get clarity. I actually feel good. I might even just feel purely neutral from it. Right? Right. And I will also say, like, because I'm asexual too, because just because I love watching porn, it doesn't mean I'm a extremely sexual person. I can be, but I'm not most times. It really just depends on the context and on the person and where I'm at. Just because I see somebody naked, y'all, doesn't mean I want to start stroking. Doesn't mean I want to start fantasizing. Now, that might be something you need to work out within yourself because I don't think that's normal. It's not my place to say that's normal or not from the person because everything is subjective. But I think for most people, anyway, right? If they see a naked body and they just start touching themselves or get turned on, that's because they might have an unhealthy relationship. But there's nothing wrong with like feeling lust or like I said, the evil polarity will feel that lust. It will feel good. Like yes, it might fantasize too, but that doesn't mean it wants to have sex with everybody, right? Just because I'm a hypersexual person, it doesn't mean that just because I see somebody naked, oh yeah, I gotta start stroking. Oh yeah, I gotta start masturbating. Oh yeah, I gotta start fantasizing. It doesn't mean that necessarily, right? But I'm also, like I said, that's also I'm asexual too, right? And because I'm asexual, that doesn't mean that I don't like sex or I don't get turned on. It just depends on the person, the case, the scenario, my emotions, and how I'm feeling at the time, right? Somebody might get turned on and be like, if I'm in the mood for sex, then seeing somebody naked, oh yeah, yeah, because that's the mood that I'm in, that's the emotions that I want to feel, right? But if I'm in that mood where like my asexual mood, where like, no, like I'm good, like I can see somebody's butthole, I can see somebody's ass, somebody can twerk, somebody can pull out their private parts, and I'd be chill, I'd be good. And I can even say, you got a nice thing going on there, but pull your pants up. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying what you're doing is bad, but girl, I don't care. Like, I'm not trying to see all that. Like, not that it's bad, but like, girl, can you just talk? Girl, I just want to eat, not food. Put that away right now. Save that for later, okay? Save it for later tonight. Type shit. You know what I mean? So that just comes with emotional alchemy, spiritual alchemy, and human alchemy, right? That just comes with that over time. And no, it's not like I said overnight. It's over time, right? But it all starts with not shaming yourself and loving yourself unconditionally and starting the process of being fully conscious and aware that you're doing it, right? And also being aware of your authentic nature. If you don't know it, ask yourself that. Sit in meditation, do a dream spell, go for a walk, do something to where you can be in a contemplative state and ask your highest self, your truest self, your demons, your fairies, your angels, your internal self. I want to know my authentic nature. I really want to be authentic to me. How do I start doing that? And what is my authentic nature? And be conscious of the signs and downloads The sign, be conscious of the signs and downloads and informations that you get. They will come in many forms. It might be through TV, it might be through other people. You might just be sitting in a bowl of cereal and you start channeling this information, right? For me, I channel it through my imagination, and I channel it by talking out loud. I talk out loud a lot. So for me, that's how I get a lot of my stuff. Um, but also, I'm aware that it comes through other YouTubers that I watch. It comes through people, and it comes through just me experiencing the human life, right? So, yeah. Um, Also, real quick, like I said, we just need places where two things. We need to be more open to nudism because that's our thing, and that's normal. We just need more. I feel like we need more places to where we can just be that. Be if I want to be naked, let me be naked. Because I realized I like being naked too a lot of the times. So, especially at home, but just in general, right? Eventually, I'm gonna get to a point where I go to these naked resorts and these naked beaches, but just because I like my naked body, it doesn't mean I want to fuck necessarily, right? Loving the naked body, if that's authentic to you, then that's sacred. And another thing, real quick, I feel like we need more places to where we can have porn and where we can have public sex, but in a safe environment, right? And I'm gonna keep advocating for this, and I'm gonna figure it out in the future. I'm gonna figure out what we can do about that, and where we can watch porn, period, right? Because I don't feel like porn should be age restricted. I don't. I really do not. I do not. I do not. Because when we start hitting puberty, I mean, that's it is what it is. It's normal to feel those feelings, right? And some of us are demons, right? So watching porn that brings us true authentic comfort and power. Some of us are angels. We might not need to watch porn, we might just need to learn about it, right? Both polarities need to learn about porn and sex, right? In healthy ways. But if you're more of the light polarity, the angelic side, you might not need to watch porn. You just might need to understand, like, oh, okay, so I don't need to watch porn to feel sexual. I don't need to watch porn to feel my sex. I just might want to experiment with other people in a healthy consensual way. And the neutral polarity might have a balance of the two, or the neutral polarity might be like, sometimes I want to watch porn, sometimes I want to have, you know, sex. And like I said, it's all convoluted because the evil polarity can also be like, sometimes I only want to watch porn, or sometimes the person might be, I only want to have sex, right? Or they might watch porn and have sex, right? But that's normal for them. Being in that environment of sexuality might be normal for them. And even within the evil polarity, there's levels to it too, because not every evil person, like I said, every polarity is subjective. Not every, and each polarity has levels. So not every evil person wants to watch porn. Not every evil person wants to have sex. Some might just strictly want to watch porn and not want to have sex with nobody. Some might not want to watch porn and strictly want to have sex with somebody, right? And people who are of the sexual polarity and of the evil path, they could be somebody who want to have sex with only two people in their entire life, and that's it. Or one person within their entire life, and that's it. But they might like to have sex frequently, right? And this is what I'm saying, y'all. It gets convoluted, right? There are distinctive differences, but at the end of the day, it's highly subjective and based on the person's, on the individual's authentic nature. So, yeah, that's really how imagination works. It's expressive in many ways. At the highest and lowest level, it's convoluted, so it really doesn't matter. It just depends on the individual person and their relationship with it, right? And collectively, we just have an unhealthy relationship with everything. Collectively, we have an unhealthy relationship and an unconscious relationship with everything. So yeah. So yeah, next time I'll be talking about the evil polarity, positive polarity, and I guess that neutral polarity too. but mostly the evil polarity and the positive polarity. Um, but yeah, like I said, you can't shame a demon for being a demon. You can't shame an angel for being an angel. You can't shame a tree for being a tree. You can't shame a dragon for being a dragon. You can't shame a human for being a human. Okay? And if you have shame, you're not being who you are supposed to be. And that could be somebody who's supposed to love porn, somebody who's supposed to love sex, or that could be somebody who had an unhealthy relationship because they may have been sexually abused. So now their relationship with sex is distorted. And once they heal that and integrate that, they may not be addicted to porn no more. They may find that just having casual human to human sex is their path. Or they might wait until they find that specific person that they want to be with forever till they have sex. And that's because it's based off their authentic nature. Somebody, okay, real quick, I know I'm about to go. Two people can experience sex trauma, right? Two things, and they can experience sex trauma, but the outcome could be different. So you got two people both experiencing sex trauma, right? Person A and person B. Person A who experienced sex trauma could after they spiritually alchemize that, emotionally alchemize that, right? Do shadow work, do shadow healing, and they alchemize that, they could become somebody who advocates for safe sex for themselves. They don't have to do it on a public platform, but for themselves. So they can learn how to set boundaries and be like, I only want to have sex with one person forever and that's it. Person B can be somebody who alchemize that in a way where, oh, I really love sex. Let's advocate for a sex in a way where we understand that imagination is everything, right? We all came from imagination, and imagination expresses itself in many rainbows. So for person B, sex could be like having group orgies or watching a lot of porn or having sex with multiple people, but in a way where it's sacred to that person, right? To those people, to where person B having orgy is of their authentic nature. Watching porn is of their authentic path. You know, having sex with multiple people is authentically who they are. And there's no shame in that, right? Just like somebody who gains power from drinking alcohol versus somebody who doesn't. Just like how somebody might become hospitalized from eating an apple, and somebody who can eat 10 apples a day and gain so much power from it. And not get, you know, and not gain weight, but gain power. So yeah, I hope I explained that well. Um, like I said, I know I can speak like a child sometimes, so forgive me a lot of times. But and that just becomes and that comes with knowing who you are. Girl, I know my strengths, I know my weaknesses. Okay, so yeah, and there's no shame in the game. Okay? So yeah, I hope y'all understand that. But that's what I want to say.
Two cans of golden ale
Like, just be you, do you, and be your authentic nature. I'm gonna stress this as many times as I possibly can because I feel like we need to stress this. It's not stressed enough. So